It's Scissors and Scrubs again. I'm Nicole.
Laura.
World-renowned summer series. This week, we're going to dive headfirst in some gore and blood and death and mayhem, and we're going to ruin amusement parks and water parks.
Yes.
Happy summer. Wait. Yay! I just said to my husband the other day, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, this job has sucked the enjoyment out of life.
Out of every single thing you can do. I'm like, I know someone who died doing that.
I can't look at anything anymore without thinking, I'm going to die on it.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to start with water parks. And mishaps of water parks.
Yes.
So go for it.
All right. I got all my information from CNN.com.
Oh, I did CNN.com too. They were really into the mishaps.
Yes. MercuryNews.com, APNews.com, and BabyGaga.com.
Baby what?
Baby Gaga. I'm not sure it's a reputable source, but...
Well, I got In Touch magazine once. I'm like, I don't know if I can quote this.
It's probably a little better than Baby Gaga.
Baby Gaga.
But it had a nice list. There are about 1,300 water parks in North America, which is an increase of 30% from a decade ago. So they're really coming up fast. I just feel
like I'm swimming in somebody's toilet bowl when I go to those.
So... we live near water country. I mean, the closest water park to us is water country. And growing up, going to water country in the summer, the thought of it made me gag. Because there'd be Band-Aids and bandages in the water. And
the Band-Aids in the pool is so disgusting.
I mean, we grew up going to MDC, so I'm used to a public pool. That being said, the thought of going to water country, swimming into someone's hair, I cannot.
You heard Sebastian Maniscalco do the whole Band-Aid thing? I could not catch my breath because that's exactly how it's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
One box of Band-Aids should last your whole life.
So then, the kids got to an age where they wanted to go to, and I'm like, oh God, I'll be a good mother and I'll take them to water country because they want to. And I'm like nauseous. I'm like, what shoes am I wearing so I can burn them after?
I feel like I should take a soaked shower when I get out of there.
I do feel though that it is cleaner than when we were little.
I don't.
I mean, I don't feel that it's. I don't feel clean
after.
That
go there.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's another whole thing.
Like it's any cleaner.
But I feel like it's slightly cleaner. I don't see stuff floating in pools, so...
I think that's just because the filter's better.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. It's disgusting. Go ahead.
Anyways. So, the 1,300 water parks in North America have attracted 85 million people in 2015, which was up from 73 million in 2004. So they're on the rise. That's
a lot of people.
They're making more parks. There's a lot of people going to them. About 4,200 people are taking to emergency rooms from water park injuries per year.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. One study found that out of 325 patients, 18% went to the hospital for fractures to extremities, like you broke your leg or you broke your arm. 18% went for lacerations. 15% went for concussions or head injuries. 15% went for sprains to extremities, and 6% went for contusions. Do you remember when we were in South Carolina? We went to that water park and we all went down that slide and had that last little bump, and you thought you would, somehow it felt like you were done.
But you weren't.
But you weren't, and your body slammed back again, and all of us whacked our heads off of the slide, and Jack could barely stand by the end of the day. He had like a migraine.
I also remember one of them shooting water so far up my cooch that I couldn't find my bathing suit. I came down and was like, Jesus Christ! I think it was like a potato.
Yeah. I think we had concussion. I'm pretty sure Jack probably got reconcussed.
I had a concussion, but that was quite a while back.
Yeah. That was something. I'm sure there was deaths there.
I'm sure I got body lice at some point.
Spinal injuries are also seen. In July 2015, there was 1 drowning and 3 near drownings at U.S. water parks, just in July of that year. The Red Cross has added shallow water rescue training courses. It emphasizes care of head, neck, and spinal injuries because of water park injuries. It's only like 3 feet deep, all the pools. You come off, you hit something, that's the problem. And it's different rescuing someone from shallow water than it is from deep. 2,100 people took the course last year. The Red Cross has helpful hints for families visiting water parks. One is make sure there are lifeguards on duty.
Yeah.
Make sure there's a lifeguard. Well, I mean, if there's all these water parks, some of them are probably like, I
can't believe you'd have water and no friggin' lifeguard.
Make sure they're on duty and they're watching you and they're not talking to their friend. Read the attraction signs. Obey the rules. Follow age, height, and weight requirements. Do you also remember that slide
I
we
was
went
just
on?
going to say the same thing. Oh my God, that slide of death.
It was like a...
It looked like a V.
Yeah. And you literally just dropped off the edge, and it was
one
kind
side of the V, and you went down into the crotch and up the other side of the V.
And there was maybe a 3-inch bumper.
If that.
Maybe. Yeah. And then it was just tree line.
And you were on like a sled.
Yeah.
And when you got on it, the heavier person had to sit in the front, right?
No, because I went down backwards and Mike was in front of me.
Yeah, so the lighter person went backwards, the heavier person had to sit, and you had to have a certain weight limit. And I actually asked the guy, I'm like, so what happens if the weight limit's off? He's like, you go off the other side. I'm like, great! Great! This is, see ya! Yep. Down we go. I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
And Mike is a constant 180. No matter what his weight is, he weighs 180 pounds. And I'm like, do not tell this guy you weigh 180. We will die.
We're all gonna die on this thing. That was quite a slide. I've never done anything quite like that.
No,
I was terrified. Yeah. Because then the back of it was wide open too, so you could have shot out the back.
Everything was wide open.
I can't even believe they allowed a slide.
And then we let the kids go on. Whatever.
Yeah. I sent my youngest. Here you go. Have a good time.
Fun. Yay. But anyways, don't lie about your height, your weight, your rate. Mm-hmm. Do what it says. Wear protective clothing. Use sunscreen. Don't get a nice sunburn. You get a headache. You get dehydrated.
Oh, it can be nasty.
Then you get dizzy. You're in a pool. You can't swim. Drink plenty of fluids. Avoid caffeine and sweeteners.
Which is all they serve at water parks.
Right. Coke and coffee.
Those big friggin' drinks.
Oh my God. All those sugar things. Yeah. Keep an eye on your kids. Please.
Why would I do that?
I know. If they can't swim or are under 4 feet tall, make sure they are wearing a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket.
Could you imagine if I sent my kid around in one of those life jackets?
I
would make so much fun of him.
I'm a nut though when it comes to the wave pools.
Yes, because you can drown in a second.
A second. And I hate when they allow you to bring floats into the wave pool because then you can't see. Yep. And my mother, we never even were allowed in the wave pool when we were little because she was really nuts. And then, so when the kids were younger and they would beg me to go, I would always take them the other side of the park so they didn't even see it. And then as they got older and they were with their friends, they wanted to go to the wave pool. I'm like, see those life jackets? You put one on. Are you kidding me? I mean, they were like,
what you want to do to go in?
If you're going in, you're putting that on. They cannot see every single person in that wave pool. I hate the wave pools.
No, you can't be stuck to the bottom of the drain.
Yeah. Signal a lifeguard if someone is in trouble. Don't just go after the person. Make sure people are aware someone's coming to help. Set up a meeting place. Always use a buddy system. Watch the weather. Get out of the water at first sign of thunder or lightning, and stay away from water for 30 minutes after last lightning flash or thunder roar. Now I got some mishaps.
Oh, I can't wait.
So there's this viral video of a group going down a tunnel slide.
How many people are we talking?
4 or 6, I can't remember. That it's like one of those round rafts, when you go down the tunnel slide. And they're filming themselves with a GoPro. They're like teenagers. A 16-year-old girl is seen falling out of the raft. Friends kind of they're not freaking out or anything because it's not like a wicked fast ride. It's kind of like a slow ride. Then they get to the bottom of the slide. The girl starts convulsing. She's unresponsive. She ended up having a spinal injury and was in spinal shock. And she was had a paralysis from the fall. I believe she recovered okay, but she was in a spinal shock at the bottom of the slide just from the way she fell off. Yep. There was a field trip to the Drayton Manor theme park in the UK. On the last ride of the day.
Always the last
ride of the day. 11-year-old Eva Janeth was riding the Splash Canyon ride when her boat hit a rock and she was thrown from the ride and killed.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. A lifeguard was killed at Adventure Island in 2011. A storm was rolling in and the 21-year-old lifeguard, he climbs to the top of the 700-foot tall slide, so he can see everybody to urge the attendees to leave the area immediately. You could see it. It was coming. There was lightning. And he's, yelling to everybody, get out, get out, get out. And he is struck by lightning while doing this.
He killed?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Siam Park in Thailand lost power one day. Everything's running, power goes out. The water pump that is used on the flume ride stopped because the power went out. So a boat carrying 6 people, fell from the top of a 66-foot hill and hit the ground. 5 were injured, 1 died.
Oh my God.
You don't think of it. Like, if you're going off and those tracks, the water stops, that boat is just going to fall. Yeah.
Oh, you just give me goosebumps.
Yeah. In 2016, the Thunder River Rapids Ride, which is like one of those whitewater rafting rides, in Australia's Dream World, was permanently closed. As a raft was climbing the track, like up a little hill in the ride, it crashed into a raft that was stuck at the top of the hill in front of it. The tracks, though, kept moving, but the boat is hitting this other boat. So that causes the raft that was in the back to flip.
On top of the other one?
It kind of just flipped like up and flipped over. 2 male passengers in that float were crushed to death when the raft flipped on top of them. And the 2 female passengers got trapped under the conveyor belt and drowned. Yep. In those rides, you're like, they're not dangerous. Like, you know, like, they're like not like these crazy, insane rides. At the Great America Amusement Park in Santa Clara, California, 4-year-old Carlos Flores drowned in 2007 in a few feet of water, even though there were 6 lifeguards around the wave pool. By the time he was spotted, it was too late. His death caused reforms, including strict rules on life vests and adult supervision.
Wow.
Yep. Between 1978 and 1996, 6 people died at the now closed Action Park.
When I was doing mine, that was in the Action Park. There's like a movie coming out about it.
Oh my God. And this is in Vernon, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they died from like various accidents at this park.
They call it Class Action Park now.
So it was just a poorly designed, like the rides were poorly designed. Like they just put things up quick and the staff was undertrained. So people died there a lot and got injured there a lot.
It was the death park.
And I have Accident Park or Class Action Park, which were nicknames local doctors gave to the park because of all the accidents that would come into the ED, was involved in multiple personal injury lawsuits. A quote from Barry Petschke. It was in this guy had this quote in this short documentary about Action Park.
Yeah, they're going to make a movie or a documentary about it.
This is his quote. I just thought it was funny. God bless you, Action Park. You will forever have my heart, and however many collective pounds of my skin were shredded off on the Alpine slide. You know when you're on those slides and there's not enough water and like you're like, yeah, that's gone. In Concord, California, on June 2nd, 1997, there was a graduation field trip. It was tradition that the senior class of Napa High School would spend the day at the park. Just before leaving, the class tried to clog the highest slide with a group of 70 kids.
70?
Yeah. To try and beat the record 60 kids that clogged it from the class of 1996.
Oh, God forbid you don't have to top on that one.
So the group, they climbed to the top of the bonsai pipeline at Waterworld, USA, and they start their clog. They just put more and more kids.
I can't imagine why you would even want to do that.
Because teenagers are stupid.
That's so stupid.
It collapses from the weight, which was 3 times greater than it was designed to hold.
Now, sorry, is nobody not
right? Who's
this?
Saying, hey, you can't put 32, however many kids. 32 people were injured, and 18-year-old Quimby Galati is killed. Oh. You're there for your stupid graduation, like, nice day. You're going to do that. We're going to leave. Let's just go try to clog this.
That's
and the
how it always
whole
happens.
Slide.
But where was the person else saying you cannot do this?
So there was lawsuits against the park, against the people who worked there, you know. And the mother of the Quimby, she works on park safety and stuff now. In 2016, this is the last story, and I saved this because it's the worst.
I know which one you're talking about, and it's going to be horrifying.
In 2016, State Rep Scott Schwab, his wife, and their 4 sons went to Kansas City's Schlitterbahn Water Park. Only 5 would make it home. 2 of their sons, 12-year-old Nathan and 10-year-old Caleb, decided to ride Verrückt. I'm probably not saying that right. It is German for insane. Mm-hmm. In 2014, that slide was given the Guinness Book of World Records record for being the tallest water slide.
No, I'm good. I don't like those tall water slides.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like you're going to fly off.
Yeah, because you go out.
Yeah, but you know, the ones where you cross your arms.
Yeah,
and
Geronimo.
And you're off the
yes, you
side.
Come
No, I don't like that. Yeah. I don't enjoy it at all.
It was 168 feet or 17 stories high. Yeah.
Oh
I know, when you say
God.
168 feet doesn't sound that
but
much.
17 stories
yeah.
high? That's like a skyscraper.
Yeah, it's huge. So it's designed that 2 to 3 riders would board a raft, and you're strapped into this raft because it's so high. You're strapped in. The total weight that the rafts held were between 400 and 500 pounds. The raft would go down the huge hill and then go right up a 50-foot hill and back down. So if you're coming down that huge hill, you have all this speed, and then you hit another hill right away. You're going to go airborne.
Oh, absolutely.
There is overhead hoops and netting covering the slide because it's very tall and dangerous. Right. So Nathan, the 12-year-old, he gets on a raft before Caleb. He goes down first with other people, and he's standing at the bottom waiting for his brother. So his brother gets on with 2 women because it's weight distributed. So he gets on, goes down, and Nathan's standing there, and he yells, "Caleb flew off Varrock! Caleb flew off Varrock!" And their mother was nearby.
Oh my God, I would die.
Yeah, so the mother starts running over, and she says a man just stopped her and said, "Don't go any further. Don't go over there." So,
I'm going to cry just at this.
So Caleb's raft had gone airborne, like when it hit that second hill, and it hit the hoops and netting overhead. The 2 women he was with suffered facial lacerations and injuries. Caleb was decapitated.
I can't. I would be beside me. I'd never recover.
No. The mother, they didn't let her over there, thank God. And she said that. I know, I didn't want to see. The brother is standing there watching it happen. The women in the raft
saw it happen. See
this little kid be decapitated. Like, I can't even.
No.
The people at the end of this, there's always the people at the end. Like, I just. The park slide designers and the owners were indicted on murder charges.
Wow.
There were many lawsuits, obviously, for money, including people who had been injured on that ride before, that they didn't really put out that these people were injured on this ride before. They had known rafts could go airborne when going into that second hill and did nothing to correct the design.
Because you know what? It's always about steeper, faster.
Right.
You
got to push it.
Yes.
And the raft Caleb was in had been removed several times from the ride because for whatever reason that raft went faster than the other rafts.
Oh, come on. And they put less weight in it.
And it was more easily airborne. That raft, they had problems with it many times and had to take it out of circulation and then put it back in. Right. The charges were eventually dropped. The lawsuits were settled for multi-million-dollars.
Yeah, but it's not.
No, it doesn't. And the slide was demolished in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been.
Mm-hmm. So that's a nightmare.
That's a horrible story.
Is that awful?
On that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. If you got a weak stomach, don't listen to this episode.
No, it's terrible.
So, initially when I was going to do amusement parks, I was going to talk about Disneyland and World and all the shit that's happened there. Mm-hmm. But after going to CNN.com, I decided to do different because I will cover, if we have time at the end, I'll cover some honorable mentions from Disney World. But I'm going to start with the International Association for Amusement Parks. They state that while approximately 335 million people visit amusement parks in the U.S., the likelihood of sustaining serious injury at an amusement park that would lead to an overnight stay at a hospital is 1 in 16 million. Does not say leading to death or leading to an ER visit.
Just an overnight.
Just an overnight visit.
Okay. Yeah, if you're dead, you're not staying overnight.
I think that's pretty interesting. The most recent annual safety survey came out in 2016, and it said that in 2015, there were 1,508 ride-related injuries, which was up 32% from 2014, which had 1,146. There were no fatalities reported.
Okay.
The International Association only collects data on fixed rides, like Disney World's rides, rides that don't move around the carnival. Exactly. They do not look at mobile parks like Carnival's affairs. The Consumer Product Safety Commission estimates that in 2016, ERs saw up to 31,000 injuries from both mobile and fixed parks. Wow. The commission is aware of 22 deaths since 2010. So it's funny that these people aren't repaid, and these people are like, no, there's been 22 deaths. One researcher, Tracy Meehan, says it's hard to get a clear picture because the patchwork reporting is pushing... So what the fixed parks are regulated for are not what the mobile parks are related for.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, she's trying to push for a national registry for both fixed and mobile parks. That they should all have to report to the same agency. Mm-hmm. So fixed parks, there is no national oversight. It's a state to state, with some states not regulating them at all.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So those states are...
I can guess.
Take a hint.
Florida.
Florida's not one of them.
Oh, all right.
But we have Alabama,
okay,
Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, Wyoming, and Utah. And they claim there's just not enough parks there. I think one would be enough.
One would be enough for you to check it out.
Yeah. So this report by CNN was triggered by a tragic accident that happened at the Ohio State Fair in August of 2017.
I think I know which one this is.
So I watched this video of this accident.
Yeah.
And my son's sitting next to me. Well, first I watched it and I went, oh my God! It's horrific to watch because you can't believe this is going to happen. All right? So the ride is you're sitting in like cars of probably 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And you're in a circle. Mm-hmm. All right? So that circle spins. And while that circle is spinning, the ride is swinging like the pirate ship back and forth. So you're going up and up and you're spinning in a circle. Mm-hmm. As it comes up, it comes down. And while it's spinning, it shoots one of the cars off. It gets detached. And you can see like the car goes flying and people from the other seats fell out.
Oh, God.
And like you watch this girl fall like I don't know how many feet. It was horrible.
That's not
it was horrible. So it killed 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell, who had just enlisted in the Marines. And then 18-year-old Jennifer Lambert, she suffered massive head injury. She's in a nursing home a year after in the incident and then eventually passes away.
Oh, God.
Attorneys say, though, it's not a result of the accident. She didn't pass away because of the accident. She passed away because she was vulnerable to the care she was getting. Because
of the accident.
She was in a
she wouldn't be in a nursing home at 18.
That's my point. 5 others were also hurt in this accident, and the cause of the accident was considered erosion. That's a horrible video to watch. I'm not going to lie. Ugh. So in September of 2003, Thunder Mountain in Disneyland, you have, it opened in 1970, no problems, and in 2003, a man dies and 10 are injured. A broken axle on one of the open passenger cars got lodged in the brakes and causes the train to jump. So when it causes the train to jump, the back car jumped onto the front car and crushed a guy in like
my God.
Yeah. So it lands on the front car, crushing 22-year-old Marcelo Torres of Gandina, California. And the cause of the accident is considered inadequate maintenance. Yeah.
Can I tell you, when I went to Disney World the first time, my father took us. And we went on Thunder Mountain, and I was on it with his wife at the time. And we're in the car. I don't think my sister would go on it. So I was on it with his wife. And we're in it. And we get to the top. And it stops. Just stops.
Was it September 2003?
No. And it's not going anywhere. They eventually backed us down through the ride. And we got off. But Thunder Mountain, even when I took I went again. I went on it. I've gone since then. And I've gone on it. But I'm like, every time I'm like, don't break. And that was probably the late 80s that I went.
I mean, when you go through some of the deaths at Disney World, a lot of them are like somebody going on and had a heart attack.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have gone on,
No, Thunder Mountain breaks.
Yeah, exactly. So, September of 2000, the Roger Rabbit car Toon Spin Ride. 4-year-old boy falls from the moving coaster and he becomes trapped under the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah. In front of his entire family.
Oh my God.
He suffered various internal injuries and brain damage, and he spent several weeks in a drug-induced coma, and he died 8 years later. So he was just a vegetable for 8 years. So Disney adds these little bumpers to the cars, and they add doors, but after an investigation, it showed that the ride operator called his supervisor before he called 911. Imagine? And I believe that. I totally believe them being like, no, you're going to... Yeah. So then we have the Texas Giant in Arlington, Texas, on July of 2013. A 52-year-old woman, Roy... Now, her name... She has 4 different names in this article, so we're going to just call her Rosa. Okay. She's visiting Six Flags in Arlington, Texas for the first time, and she decides to ride the Texas Giant. The Texas Giant is touted as the steepest dive in the world. And it's an old wooden roller coaster that's been retrofitted with steel. Okay. So it's like a wooden roller coaster on crack. Okay. My butt hurt looking at it. 'Cause this is how high it's like a almost inverted. It's almost inverted. That's how steep this dive is. It's a vertical, so it's almost seven stories high. That's how
it's
high
like the water slide.
Yep. Yeah. It's almost, and it goes to 65 miles an hour. So she's in it on the vertical drop. Out she goes. She's sitting in the third row. Her family's behind her. She gets launched from this thing on the vertical. She gets launched from 7 stories high. Hits a beam. Lands on a metal roof. Dead.
Yeah.
The ME reports show that she had suffered massive trauma to her torso.
Yeah.
When they investigated the accident, they didn't know. No, she was a big lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she wasn't petite, and they don't know she wasn't fitted in the seat properly, or she just got ejected.
Yeah.
So they shut it down, but you can still ride the Texas Giant today.
I remember when that happened, and I was like, I bet the thing, you know, when they put the strap over you, and you hear like when it comes back, click. I bet it didn't click.
When
and
it
those
came
will fling
back
right back
into the station, it was still down.
How the hell did she get
exactly?
Out of it?
So they don't know, because they said when the cars came back, that row still had the thing down.
So weird.
But could you imagine being on a roller coaster and seeing somebody get
No,
launched?
I would die of a heart attack.
I would be dead from a
Yeah.
stroke right next to her. Okay, Santa Clara, California, August of 1999. Gonna party like it's night. The drop zone, which is a 220-foot tall drop.
I love
So
those.
it's, you know what I'm talking about. It's those things you sit in a circle around a post, it shoots you up and it drops you. A 12-year-old slipped out of the safety harness and fell to his death.
Oh my God.
They don't know how he fell out of the safety harness, plummeted in front of his mother, 224 feet. And the park has now added an additional safety strap.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. I was trying to find ones that weren't all roller coasters.
Yeah.
Because most of them were roller coasters. Yeah. August of 1999. Wild Wonder Roller Coaster. Ocean City, New Jersey. So they're on a roller coaster, but it was like multiple cars, kind of like the mouse ride where you're in a car and then another car. Okay. So it's going up the track. And you know how when you're on a roll, it's like kink, 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 you're going up.
I love that.
Yeah. That's called the, I'm going to come up with the wrong word. It's like the drag line. That's what it's called. The drag line. The drag chain. They were almost to the top of the drag chain for whatever reason released too soon. So the cars hit and start going backwards. The rollback emergency brake malfunctioned as well.
Oh, of course.
So instead of catching them as they go down, they're plummeting down the length of the steep incline. And it launched a mother and her 8-year-old out of the car. Killed them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The coaster was removed from the park.
I hope so.
Yeah. 2007, Tower Power in Louisville, Kentucky. Wendy, because of you, I will pronounce it Louisville. Because I would have called it Louisville. And that's incorrect. Louisville. A 13-year-old girl, she's riding another Tower of Power. It's a 77-foot tower, and it drops you at a speed of 54 miles an hour. Somehow, while she's on this ride, a cord had wrapped around her legs. It drops. Yep. Amputates her legs.
Oh my
Bilateral
God.
amputations. They were able to reattach one foot, but she lost the other leg below the knee.
Oh my God.
And she's able to walk again. Park's permanently closed for financial reasons.
Yeah, because they sued the pants off of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So some amusement park safety.
Let's go over that.
And then we'll go a little honorable mentions. It's
Okay.
going to take me a minute to find them. Okay. So always follow the posted height, age, weight, and health restrictions. Because when you read a lot of the Disney deaths, they were people that should not have gone on rides and had heart attacks, strokes. They had, almost all of them had underlying conditions and were dead. Like the car pulled in, they're dead.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Somebody actually thought Space Mountain was like a little car ride, like the Haunted Mansion that you would just go and look at space.
Coaster.
They didn't know that. And they said at the beginning when it first opened, nobody knew it was a roller coaster. So she goes on it thinking it's going to be like, I'm going to look at the moon. I'm going to look at the stars. And ended up on a fucking huge, fast roller coaster. That ride scares the shit out of me.
I love that.
Because I can't see the bars.
Yeah.
And I think they're like going to decapitate me. So last time it went on, I was almost under my seat, yelling at the kids to keep their hands. I'm like, get your hands in! You're gonna get decapitated! Keep those on! And I'm like, I'm under the seat, like sweating, shivering. I'm like, this is terrible. Why? I hate this ride. Yep.
Let's do it again.
All I thought is, a bar is gonna take up my head and my arms. All right, so always follow all your posted height,
Yes.
age, weight, and health restrictions. Make sure to follow any special seating order and or loading instructions, like that crazy-ass water slide.
Right. The heavy ones.
The heavy person had to go in the back. They're telling you that for a reason because you're going to die if you don't. Always use safety equipment such as the seatbelts and the safety bars. Don't try to get out of them. It's not funny.
I'm not kidding you when my kids go to them. If I'm with them or not, I just say it up about 1,005 times. Check the straps. Always double check. Make sure.
Yep.
Pull on it. Double check every single thing. I know.
You come out of the seat.
I know.
So I am intertwined with my kids' arms and I lean on them because I'm terrified they're going to go flying out of the roller coaster.
I make them but I do have to say when we get on the ride, I don't say to them, they automatically check it. So I hope they do that when I'm not there.
Pulling those straps. I don't know what I think I'm going to do to keep them in. But...
I have held Jack on a ride. Like he's like, you're hurting my leg. Because I was like holding down. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to save you from flying out of this.
You're not flying out without me. All right. Make sure children keep hands and feet inside the ride at all times. It's not funny to go down. It does feel great. I've done it. But when you're on the Space Mountain, you're going to lose your hand.
Especially an enclosed one.
Yeah, you're going to lose your hand. Trust your instincts. If you feel the ride is unsafe, don't go on it.
Always trust your instinct.
Always trust your... If you know your child and you know they won't follow rules, don't put them on that ride. And avoid mall rides. They are usually over hard, unpadded surfaces, and if they don't have a child restraint, and most of them don't have a child restraint like a seatbelt, so you're going to get nailed on one of those rides. Yeah. So, that's my books dropping.
Yeah.
We got a few honorable mentions. All right. I have a ton from Disneyland.
I thought you were going to talk about, do you remember the girl at a carnival and her hair got stuck?
That was one of them.
Okay.
And I had it on a website.
That was awful.
But basically what had happened is she was on a ride, and I think it was one of those spinny rides. I read that this afternoon. Her hair, kind of like that kid with the machinery.
Yes.
Her hair got wrapped up in the machinery, and it swung her around the ride, and it scalped her.
Yeah.
She wound up getting her hair back.
Yeah, she ended up okay.
Yeah. Not snapping her neck.
Right.
But yeah, it ripped her scalp off at the scene.
I will never forget. Oh my God, that was awful.
So Disneyland in the beginning had these Matterhorn bobsleds.
I love the Matterhorn.
Yeah, well, the Matterhorn killed like a bunch of people.
Oh, it's one of my favorite rides.
So in 1964, 15-year-old Mark Maples from Long Beach, California, stood up and was thrown from the top of the Matterhorn bobsleds, and he landed on an adjacent ledge, fractured his ribs and skull, and died 3 days later.
Oh, God.
Some of these were kind of gruesome.
Well, don't stand up on a ride.
Well, this is the thing. And another one of these grad night things.
Oh, God, I hate them.
In 1966, 19-year-old Thomas Guy of Cleveland, Northridge, California, wanted to crash grad night, Disneyland's annual high school senior celebration. And he's walking along the Monotrail track. Which, if you've ever seen the Monotrail track, it's high.
Yeah.
It's a mono track, which means there's one thing. Mm-hmm. There's no way to go. And so he was killed when the train hit and crushed him and then dragged his body down the track.
Oh, God.
Happy graduation.
Yeah.
Then you have 17-year-old Ricky Liyama from Hawthorne, California. He fell while jumping the seats on the People Mover ride and was dragged hundreds of feet.
Oh.
And in 1980, at grad night, Gerardo Gonzalez did the same thing on the People Mover.
Why?
And what's happening is they're getting cracked. Their heads are getting knocked unconscious because it's going through a tunnel.
Oh.
And they're walking over it. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So in 1973, 18-year-old New Yorker Bogdan Delaroy, I think I know Butch's name, and his 10-year-old brother had hid out on Tom Sawyer's Island. So if you've never been to Disney World, Tom Sawyer's Island is an island with a moat around it. And around the moat, usually they have the riverboat cruise that goes around.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So they're on the island. They think it would be funny. And it's like 100-foot wide river. And
it's far.
It's wide.
Yeah.
It's murky. It's muddy. And it probably has alligators in it.
You're in Florida.
Everything down in Florida has alligators in it. So the 18-year-old throws his brother on his back to help him get across. I still don't know why they thought this was a good idea to hide out there. So halfway across, the brother drowns. The 10-year-old makes it across, but his brother drowns.
Oh, my God.
Another kid strays. He's 4 years old, 1977. He strays away from his family during the parade, and he drowns in Cinderella's moat. Are you kidding me? Drowns in Cinderella's moat. they sued Disney World for $4 million. And basically Disney World's like, you weren't watching your kid. So they settled for $2 million. Each was found guilty and they settled for $2 million.
Oh my God.
A 12-year-old girl and her 2-year-old sister are playing outside the Coral Isle Cafe at Disney World. Mm-hmm. They pulled a rope attached to a menu board. The menu board falls on the 2-year-old, kills her.
Oh my God.
Matterhorn bobsleds again, 1984. Dolly Young is thrown from her sled after failing to buckle her seatbelt. Mm-hmm. The 48-year-old Fremont, California resident landed on the lower level tracks where an oncoming bobsled train crushed her head and upper body. How awesome would that be to be the one that crushed her? Oh my God. Then we have a guy who basically tried to kill his girlfriend because he was nuts while he was there in Epcot.
In Epcot of all places?
One of my favorites was, this is a good one because this literally gives you every incident that ever happened at Disney World. I'm not going to tell you the websites. You're going to have to find out yourself. All right? This was my favorite. I was reading this today. I'm like, this would happen to me and I don't even know what I would do. On January 28th, this is incidents at Disney World on Wikipedia or something. I don't know. So on January 28th, 2016, an Orlando area attorney announced that he had been detained by a family involved in a biting incident at the park. So this is in the Animal Kingdom Park. Oh, wait to hear.
Okay.
According to the attorney, in October of 2014, a snake fell out of a tree onto a group of guests in a public area at the park. Uh-huh. Which, right there alone, it bit an 8-year-old boy that it landed on, causing his grandmother to go into cardiac arrest and die soon afterwards.
Oh my God!
Yep. The attorney claimed that it had escaped from the park's facilities, but Disney was like, They acknowledged that it happened, but they stated that it's not a part of their collection. This was a wild snake that was just hanging out in the park. Thought Animal Kingdom was a pretty good gig.
Look at all these animals.
It's a lot of, they're getting fed.
Right.
And that, the snake wasn't venomous. It's not our fault that she died of a heart attack.
It's a freak thing.
That the park nurse treated the bite with an adhesive bandage, and the family continued to visit the rest of the park. So I don't know at what point this grandmother has a heart
when
attack.
did she die?
I don't know, because the way it sounds is like it was immediate.
Right.
But then they're like, oh no, they were visiting the park for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that doesn't seem real.
Let's see. Then we have people who had CPR riding the Matterhorn. There was another good one. I'm trying to look for, sorry for the delay here, but there was one for the Tower of Terror. And I love the Tower of Terror.
I love the Tower of
Terror. And I never wanted to ride it because I'm terrified of heights. So I'm going to tell the story about my husband. He's probably going to be like, did you really have to share that on there? Mm-hmm. So we go to the Tower of Terror. I was terrified. I didn't want to ride it. And I decided to ride it. And I'm like, I love the ambiance of it. I love how it's designed. So cute, I thought it was great. And then we go on the thing. I loved it. So I come off the ride. I'm like, oh my God, Brian, you gotta go on this ride. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. My husband keeps everything in, even his fear. So I have no idea what he's afraid of and what he isn't. So we get on the ride. And he's like grabbing me. He's like nails digging in me. I'm like, what is your problem? He's like, I'm waiting. I'm ready. I said, we got a lot to do before this is going to drop.
Right.
I said, when it gets really humid and hot, you're outside, it's going to drop.
Yeah.
He's like, all right. So he relaxes a little bit. And we get out. Now I said, now get ready. Because it's hot. It's steaming. Yeah. Like, here it comes. It drops. And all you can hear is, the whole ride. And the other side is me, hysterical laughing. All you could hear was him and me. And every time he did that, I'm laughing harder and harder. The picture, he wouldn't let me buy it. It was fucking priceless. It's the best ever. Ever. And he gets off, he's like, what the hell you gonna take me on? I'm like, I didn't know you were afraid. He's like, that was terrible. I'm like, that's the best ride in the world. He's like, I'm never going on that again. So, July 12th of 2005, 16-year-old Leanne Deacon from England, I can't even get to the town she's in, complained of severe headaches and other symptoms after riding the Tower of Terror. She's taken to a local hospital in critical condition. She underwent surgery to stop an intracranial bleed that she got. On August 6th, she returned home via air ambulance and was reportedly had ridden the ride several times previously during her visit with no ill effects. Her initial collapse was unexplained. Later tests showed that she had been in pain for days before having a massive stroke leading to cardiac arrest.
Oh my God. After
an examination by both Disney and state inspectors, they said there was no malfunction of the ride. But they have modified it. It doesn't drop as far as it used to.
Oh, really?
Is what I'm told. They have modified it. They go on, I mean, if you Google deaths at Disney or injuries at Disney, it goes on to the actors in the hurt, like the Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I love that thing.
Multiple actors have been hurt on Indiana Jones set, yeah.
When we went to Disney, I took Jack on some ride, but Jack likes big rides and fast, and they were little, and Sammy didn't like rides then. Mm-hmm. And Mike doesn't like rides. So Mike took Sam on like the easy ride of this ride. And Jack and I did like the scarier version or whatever. And it was like you were in a space. I don't remember what it was called. And you were like in a spaceship and you had to like do things. Like it would tell you like, space okay, ship? Land.
Because that's on here too.
Maybe land or, do this or do that or get the, I don't know what we had to do. But it was like an interactive thing. It didn't, like we were just sitting there doing this interactive thing. It was fun. We get off. We meet Mike and Sam outside. He is pissed beyond belief. Why would you have me do that? I'm like, what are you talking about? It was a stupid spaceship thing. You got to pretend you're on a space. Jesus Christ, it spun so fast. I'm like, the ride didn't move, Mike. And he's like, it's a centrifuge. I'm like, what?
What is that? The Turkish choice I can't even like. Where you stick to the walls. And
he's like, it's a centrifuge. I'm like, that was not a centrifuge. It didn't even move. He's like, Laura, it's a centrifuge. I Googled it because I couldn't believe you had me go on it. And an 8-year-old died on this last year because of the centrifuge.
Oh, I bet you it's in here.
I was like, what are you talking about? Mike, it didn't move. And Jack's like, Dad, that ride is like a robot ride. Like, you didn't move. He's like, it's a centrifuge! Or we didn't even feel it moving. And he was sick for the rest of the day.
Well, that's the thing. I can't do those either because they make me want to throw up.
We didn't even know it was moving, Jack and I.
I can't even. I'll bet you it's in here. Give me Mission Space. 4-year-old died after riding the ride. Autopsy released on November 15th by the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office stated he died as a result of a pre-existing, previously undiagnosed heart condition. Mm-hmm. I bet you there's another one.
It was probably that 4-year-old that made 8-year-old up. I don't remember. I knew it was a kid. He was so mad.
Yeah. Literally every single ride. Mm-hmm. Pirates of the Caribbean. Some kid had his fingers in the water. Oh. Shoot! Off.
I do
remember
that.
Off they go. Somebody fell off the Skyway.
Jesus.
Main Street, USA. What could you possibly have happened? It just smells like cookies. A 4-year-old boy from Dalton, Illinois, drowned in the moat. So, that was the kid who drowned. Yeah, but they attributed to Main Street Cafe.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of stuff go down, and they don't talk about it. I mean, they had that poor kid. That was the worst thing ever. The alligator came up. And somebody's like, well, they weren't watching their kid. I said, bullshit.
He was standing right there.
You could be sitting, and the father, I said, you're in ankle deep water. Who thinks a goddamn alligator is going to come out and take your kid? And then you can't save it? What kind of nightmare would you have after that? You know what I mean? Oh, it was just awful. Characters, Donald Duck's been abused. Minnie Mouse has been abused. Tigger has taken a hit. Dopey. What are you going to do, poor Dopey? That's almost like Dopey? It's almost like discrimination to go after Dopey. So basically, I guess what we're saying is, be careful in the amusement parks. What's your favorite ride?
Any old white roller coaster is my favorite.
But I literally feel sometimes like I went to one in California. I think I had a head bleed afterwards because my head was shaking so much. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
That feeling though, like that
drop.
Click, 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 and then you're like waiting and then it's the best. It's just the best.
Love roller coasters. The older I get, the more motion sickness I get. Yeah. So I literally have to take Dramamine before I can even go to an amusement park. And my motion sickness is so bad that when the kids are on the merry-go-round, I can't even look at them.
My mother.
I can't look at them.
My mother cannot watch a ride that goes around a circle.
It makes me want to throw up.
She also, when we were little, we would all go up as a group to like Canopy or whatever. And there was a bunch of kids, and I don't know why, but my mother, I don't know if she was the only mother that went on the rides. She always got the kid that was afraid. So she would go on with them. And my mother, I'm not lying to you, when you're going up the Yankee Cannonball, the old white roller coaster, it starts to go up. And she starts screaming.
I love it.
You're going up. It's not going fast. And she's clenching whoever she's with. And then when you get to the top, forget it. You have to hold on to the bar. You can't put her hands
But
up.
if you scream, you feel better.
Yeah, you do feel
You
better
get
if
it
you
out.
scream. And I do tell that to kids who are afraid. I'm like, just scream, scream. It makes you feel
the
better.
energy out.
But oh my, she would be screaming the whole time. Then the kid would come off crying. Like it was, but she cannot watch around.
As a kid, I went on the Turkish twist, which is a centrifuge.
Which is an actual
And
centrifuge.
I probably came off and threw up in the bucket. It was awful.
We used to go on that time after time after time after time.
I can't even say it without feeling like queasy.
The Roundup.
Oh,
I love
the
the
round.
Roundup.
I can't. What's the other one? It always has a different name. It's at every goddamn carnival. And it spins forward. It's always blaring rock and roll
That's
music.
like the Matterhorn. That's what I was talking about, the Matterhorn. Because they used to call those the
ride.
Matterhorns.
The
But they
ride.
always have different names. But
Yeah.
I think that ride
I
is
think
different.
that ride was like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would go
Yeah.
backwards.
And then
oh
forwards.
my God.
I love those.
My kids love it, and I'm like, I can't even look
It
at
rocks
it.
kind of.
Nope,
I love those.
Nope. And like the one where they got shot off because the car broke, where they spin and swing.
They have one of those at
Yeah.
Canopy now, the Frisbee.
Yeah.
Love it.
Nope.
Love
up.
it.
It's a throw up machine.
I am afraid the arm's just going to break off.
Well, I went to Hershey Park with the kids, and we did the Wild Mouse ride, which really is not like a big deal.
No.
But there's no railing.
Right, it's just the edge.
So I couldn't. Cameron's like,
And you get to
"Mom."
the corner
Yes,
and
and
it
it whips around. I'm like,
Yeah.
we're going down. We're going off. That's it. The car's going off. I'm going to die. We're going to plummet 4 stories. He's like, Mom, I'm like, I can't look. We're going to just get me off of this goddamn thing. I hated it. I hated it.
I like those.
Oh my God. All right. So that being said,
Yes.
enjoy your summer.
Yeah. Check your buckles. Check your safety straps.
Listen to the rules. Keep your arms in.
Alert the attendants if you don't feel that it's working.
Yes, and trust your instincts.
Be a
If you think
Karen.
You're going to
Say
die in the
something.
ride. At least we're not boomers anymore. We're just Karens
We're just
now.
Karens.
I'd rather be a Karen than a boomer.
Yeah.
Sorry, boomers.
Yeah.
So just be safe out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have, how many more installments? We have one more
One
good
more.
installment. It's going to be a good one. There's more death and gore coming.
Yes.
A girl was just gored at an amusement park
A national park.
by a, yes,
I'm like, really?
Yellowstone
Oh.
bison.
Oh.
Done. So we're going to talk about that.
Yay.
We're going to national parks, and then we're going to wrap it up. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.